Do you ever find yourself continuously using phrases like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm drained? When I say continuously, I mean it has become part of your daily speak. So you're saying this all the time. There are many reasons that you might feel drained. It could be excessive work. It could be a particular problem that you're trying to solve, a tough relationship that you're dealing with, lethargy that comes with poor health. It can be anything, to be honest. However, there's one important contributing factor that is often overlooked. Throughout my life's journey, I found that I feel the most drained when I'm not being myself. This can come in many forms. And when I'm not being completely honest about something, I feel drained. When I've accepted a role or a responsibility that I don't want to take on, or when I'm continuously having to explain myself about something. I rarely get drained from my work or my environment. So yes, being drained can come in many forms. One of the reasons that you might feel drained is because you're not being yourself. So today I'm going to share a few tips on how to stop feeling drained. All right, so be honest about how you feel and what it is that you want. A lot of times, we go into situations and we're not always honest about who we are at the very core of our being, but also what we want from that situation. And along my life's journey, I've learned to try as much as possible to say exactly what it is that I want per time. So if it's a business relationship, if it is a personal relationship, whatever situation that you're going into, to just be able to say, you know what, this is what I want out of this situation. This is the picture that I envision from this situation. And I'm going to actually voice this to the other parties so that they're aware of my exact needs and my exact wants in that situation. For some people, you might have a personality where you tend to avoid conflict, and in the process of avoiding external conflict, you end up not being able to avoid internal conflict. So you've avoided the external conflict, but then inside you're now having a battle with yourself. Oh man, why did I agree to that? Oh man, why didn't I say this? That feeling can really make you just feel drained overall. So it's important for you to be honest and to always identify what you want from a situation so you can actually voice it. Let go of judgment, okay? There are two types of judgment: people judging you and then you judging other people. Let's talk about the first one. A lot of times you have to get to the point of realization that not everyone's gonna like you, not everyone's going to think the best about you, and that is okay. You have to get used to having other people's disapproval, right? Disapproval of your life, disapproval of your lifestyle, disapproval of your intelligence, disapproval of everything that you're about. And that is okay. You cannot control other people's actions, other people's thoughts towards you, right? The most you can control is your actions, your thoughts towards others, which kind of leads me into the next part of judgment, which I mentioned, judging other people, okay? So that can be an energy drainer. Just continuously thinking about all the things that are wrong with the people around you. Sometimes not even people you know. So you might be scrolling through social media and you see someone's picture, and it just triggers you, right? Because you're continuously thinking about the possibilities that maybe they're lying. Maybe that post they did was a big lie and it was just they're not being honest, and all these thoughts pile up and they create serious opportunities for you to be drained. And so let go of judgment, stop judging other people, and stop caring about other people judging you. Be very clear about your values, okay? Your values are pretty much standards and principles, right, that you live by, things that are important to you. It's very, very important to be able to take a stance on things, stance on worldview, stance on life in general, things that you truly, honestly believe in, things that have guided you on your life's journey. And it's important to identify those things and to take a stand on where you are per time. Because what happens is whenever you hear conversations, arguments, things that happen in life, right? Again, with digital media these days, people are forwarding conversations. There's so much happening. And you read all these different conversations and people's perspective to things. And that can tend to create triggers, okay? So you might feel triggered about something and then you try to battle that conversation. And sometimes sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not necessary, okay? Once you know where it is that you stand, it's easier to enter into conversations from an objective point of view versus always feeling triggered and always feeling like you need to prove a point every single time. Just know what your value system is, know what your worldview is, and know what it is that you stand for, so that you're consistently standing there and like you're not so bothered about what other people feel or what other people think about a particular thing per time. Create a support system. I cannot overemphasize the importance of having a support structure, okay? So the thing is, life gets busy. You cannot discount relationships and the value that relationships bring to your life, okay? So I know, like for me, for instance, I'm so busy influencing the world, making impact in the different aspects of my life. And it's very important that I have a close-knit group of people that I can come to at any point in time to just lay how I feel, to lay my burdens, to be able to share my perspective on things, to be able to share how I feel about a particular subject matter or how I feel about a particular instance that has occurred in my life. Those things become more and more important even as you journey, okay? So find a support system. That support system could come from your family members. If you're comfortable with your family members, it could come from close friends. It could come from people in your different peer groups that you feel comfortable speaking with about anything that is going on in your life. So create a support structure that works for you. Trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. There's a quote by Dean Koontz that just says, you know, your intuition is like seeing with your soul. And I truly, honestly believe in that. So like there are many times that my gut feeling, my intuition has saved me in so many situations, whether it was a business situation that I was trying to go into, and I just listened to my intuition on it, even when the logical perspective of that particular condition or that particular situation, you know, seems like you should actually dive in. You know, you say to yourself, yeah, I should dive in because all the dots connect and it just sounds like such an interesting proposition and I should do this. There are many times where in the middle of that, like my gut feeling has said, Adaora, don't do that. And I figured out that it has saved me so much stress, so much drama. So trust your intuition more, right? Everything doesn't have to be black and white. I always believe that there are some gray areas in different things, different aspects of our lives. And so don't feel like, oh, you know, it has to be this or that. I can't make decisions, you know, I can only make decisions logically. Like I can't make decisions from a place of feeling. I have to make decisions from a rational place. See, here's the thing, right? Intuition can be irrational sometimes. That's the reality. Intuition can be irrational sometimes, but intuition is also one of the strongest, most important things that you will find will allow you make the most brilliant decisions ever as you journey through life. So trust your intuition. Allow yourself to evolve, okay? Allow yourself to evolve. Along your life's journey, it's okay to change your mind. You might have a perspective about something. You might have a point of view about something, and you say to yourself, you know what, like, I believe in this, I believe in that. But then as you move along your life's journey, like there'll be things that you will unlearn based off of just experience, okay? So just based off of experience, because a lot of the beliefs that we form are based off of our programming, right? So there are things that, you know, our parents have told us, there are things that our families have told us, there are things that our culture and our environment has told us. And as you progress through life, you start to realize, you know what? I need to start unlearning some of these things because they're not beneficial to my journey. And I can see how some of it was flawed thinking, period, okay? Now, in those kind of situations where you have maybe, you know, shared a particular belief about a subject matter, what happens sometimes is that you want to make a change to that perspective. So you want to be able to say, you know what, I don't believe that anymore. But what happens is you're so panicked about telling people that you don't believe that anymore that it starts to drain you. So you are following a path and, you know, sharing a belief that you no longer hold. And that is a very draining way to live. So if you do feel like at any point that you have changed your mind, just know that that is okay. Like, it's okay to communicate to people that, you know, I used to believe this before, but I don't believe this anymore, right? And like, that's okay. I've changed my mind. I'm a new person. I have diversified my thoughts and, you know, this is where I am per time. So don't be afraid to evolve as a person. Don't be afraid to change your mind on something. And that change of mind can even come from like profession. For instance, you've always said you were going to become a doctor and you've lived this life trying to become a doctor. And last minute you decide, you know what, like this doctor thing is not really my thing. Like I want to actually be a programmer. I want to develop apps and build out, software and whatever it is. But that fear of having to tell people that I'm no longer trying to be a doctor can just like create so much excess stress in your body, right? So where you're now hiding something, you feel like you're hiding something and you're having to pursue a career path that is not for you and that you don't want, okay? Being able to backtrack and say to people like, it's not even backtracking really when you think about it. It really isn't. It's more like progression. It's progression. So being able to say to people that, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. Like I've decided I want to be a developer, and like that is completely okay. Give yourself permission to evolve. Don't be self-righteous. Don't be self-righteous, okay? And what I mean by that is just understand that nobody is perfect. We're not perfect beings, okay? We try our best to be the best versions of ourselves every single day, but there are times where, you will obviously have flaws. There are times where, you won't always live up to expectation, not just of others, but of expectations that you've created for yourself as well, okay? And that is okay. Like you don't have to come from a place of perfection all the time, or come from a place where, you're afraid to make a mistake, you're afraid to make errors. When you continuously walk on eggshells, of course you're gonna be drained, because you're always thinking, man, if I mess up right now, what are people gonna think? If I mess up right now, like I've always projected myself as this person that is, better than everyone else, or this person who never makes mistakes, or this person who is so spiritual that, there's no challenges in their lives. That is a false way to live. I think the important thing is to live an authentic life, right? And understand that, listen, I'm a human being, I'm flawed. And that doesn't give you an excuse to obviously, use that as a reason to do silly things. But it just basically says to people that I know that I'm a person, like I'm a human being and I have flaws, and like that is okay, and I'm just working and striving every day to become better, right? So don't be self-righteous. Don't be afraid to say where you are per time. Don't be afraid to show your vulnerability and show your flaws, okay? So my hope is that you have listened to this entire episode and you've been able to take away things that will just help you stop being drained every single day. And hopefully by the end of this as well, when you put it into actual practice, because remember, this is about practicing, this is about action, not just acquisition of the knowledge, okay? Once you start to put it into practice, my hope is that you will change your phrases from I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm drained, to I'm pumped, I'm excited about life, I'm joyful about life, okay? And I'm looking forward to amazing progress on my life. That is my hope for you. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also share it with your friends. Your friends need to watch this. If you were impacted by it, it'll be great to share it so that more people can be impacted by it as well. Thank you for tuning in.